Welcome to the official Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society's podcast. I'm your host, Barnaby, and you're listening to Whispers from the Dark. Alright, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. I am your host, Barnaby, and today we have a very special episode. We are recording this inside of a special location, and we'll get to that in just a second. Along with me today is Ma. How you doing?
I'm good.
Cool. And joining us, who hasn't been on the episode for quite a while, the melodical voice of Ethan.
Yeah, I'm here.
Usually my line.
Ethan is far in the back at this time. Hopefully.
I find it entertaining. You stuck me next to the Batesville.
Yeah.
Because I work for Batesville.
Yeah. Where did the Paralight go? Oh, it's over there by them. Yeah, okay. So yeah, and joining us, I think for the first time on the podcast is Ethan's wife, Kayla.
Hello.
Kayla's been on the episode a lot, but I don't think she's ever been on the podcast. Yeah. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Well, today the four of us are doing a live paranormal investigation at our guest's museum. Ooh, and we have REM pod activity. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us where we are today.
Well, my name is Freiss, and we're at Nightshades Paranormal Museum. This is a museum of my personal collection of things I've collected over the years, things that fascinated me, paranormal is a constant learning experience, so I just kind of grew it from there. I just started with interests of different cultures and their beliefs, and that thing's really going on.
Yeah, the REM pod just keeps ticking. That's awesome.
Cool, yeah. And then I had things given to me over the years, haunted items that people didn't want, and I was an investigator for a few years, but not as long as you guys probably, because it's quite the commitment. So.
Very cool. So tell everybody listening right off the bat where. I know you said where we are, but where are we? Your address, how can they come here and investigate the museum, or not investigate, but take your tour and stuff of the museum?
Sure. Well, I have a Facebook page. It's Nightshades Paranormal Museum, and a website. But the physical address is 2129 South Oneida, of course, Green Bay. And anybody wants to take a tour of it, they just can call me, 920-499-2783, or just get on my Facebook and write me a message, and I'll meet them anytime. I do have a day job, so it would have to be after a certain time, usually 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So.
Perfect. Yeah. How much is your admission?
It's donation based.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's really cool. And it's definitely, me and Ma have been here before. And Ethan and Kayla, it's your first time over here.
Yep.
And we came here, and the last time we were here, you had some music playing.
I did.
And we were doing the tour. We just got done at the back of the museum here. And the music started skipping, and we started talking to the music.
Yeah.
And asking it if it would change to the next song or go back, and the CD player actually complied with that in a very, I don't know if you guys, hopefully you guys can hear the REM pod just beeping away down there.
Yeah.
It's going off already, so that's really cool. But yeah, we had some very intelligent answers coming from the CD player back there.
Yes, it was very cool. Yeah, it was very cool.
Very neat. So you said let's start off with you did some paranormal investigating.
Yes, a long time ago. It's been definitely about 15 years ago, I guess now. And like we were just talking earlier, you didn't have quite the equipment you guys have now. I mean, that's amazing. It's really cool how it's advanced a lot in that field. But no, yeah, I did some investigating. One of the more noted ones, I guess, would be in Kewanee. We did the historical museum there. The director of the museum contacted us. I was a member of the SOS, Shadows of Spirits investigative team. But so they had called us. They were having problems with volunteers wanting to stay or help out because they were having activities. So they called us, and we did have actually quite a bit of evidence. They narrowed it down. There used to be an old sheriff that used to, a female sheriff that used to run it because he used to be in jail at one time in 1800s. and it kind of narrowed it down to maybe it was her, was one of the spirits that was haunting it. Also, it was also, as a true ghost story, as you often hear, it was built on a old Menominee Indian burial. So, and they did find a skull, a little child's skull that was on the premise when they're digging up the basement. And I wrote about it in my book too, about what they were doing with the skull. They were playing with it and throwing it around the guys and stuff and being disrespectful, which is not a smart thing to do. So then they ended up reburying the skull back on its property, but I think.
Yeah, our REM pod, as you're talking here, the REM pod is just going green, 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 and blue, and now yellow. Blue, yellow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that go that crazy before, honestly.
No,
Nice.
and the thing to remember is it resets after 7 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it's being continuously set off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Nice.
Very cool.
So, Tim, we are surrounded right now by different artifacts and just the history of paranormal. I mean, you have everything from, right behind me over here. Obviously, you can only see so much on here. We'll scan around here. So we have all kinds of masks and artifacts and stuff from around the world behind me. Back behind Ma over here is some history of the paranormal, photographs and Ouija boards. Creatures,
Banshees
yep.
and Wendigos and
Yeah.
And back by Kayla and Ethan over there, we have some more like haunted artifacts, correct? So
Yeah.
can you tell us what is your some of your more interesting pieces? I mean, everything here is interesting, but to you, what are your favorite pieces and stuff that are here?
Well, I do like the Tibetan shaman stuff. Tibetan shaman often do rituals to communicate with the dead, to ask for favors or things for their tribe and that kind of thing. And I think that stuff is most interesting. I do have a power drum that was actually an actual power drum where what they do with that, they actually start drumming on it, of course, and they get the energy going, get the spirits riled up, and then they have a bone flute. That thing is very interesting because originally when I was buying some of this equipment, I knew the power drum was actual, but the flute, I didn't know, is actually made out of a human femur of a dead person, yeah.
Nice.
And they hollow it out, of course, make a flute out of it, and they ornate it. And that spirit wants to be heard, man.
Yes, definitely.
And then blowing it and cause the spirits, of course, to come through and they can communicate. Well, when I purchased that particular bone or that flute, I didn't think it was an actual. I thought it was a fakie. But it was quite expensive. And when I did buy it, I got it. Anyway, I gave a class. And one of the students at my class was a medical student and did verify that it was actually a human femur bone, and so it was probably actually used in rituals, so it probably may have some energies attached to that. But then I have a skull cap, that's not real. I do have a dagger that was used in exorcisms by the Tibetan. They would use it to exorcise people from demons if they had demons in them and that kind of thing. They would use it. They wouldn't stab the person, but they would stab at the person and call out the demon to leave that person. African stuff, I love the African stuff. I think the art alone is amazing. A lot of the masks that the Africans would make, the Nigerian tribes and such, they're just beautiful. Actually, I like them just for their art aesthetics alone. I love them. And just everything. Everything has its charm. The things that were given to me, I love getting haunted stuff. If anybody has something they don't want, I'll take it or buy it from them. I even buy it from them if they need. Because I just love that. And I also like the history of how the paranormal really hit hard here in the United States. And you probably know about the Fox sisters in 1848 were kind of the first to start communicating with the spirits. Kind of coming up with a code, knocking code, alphabet code, and then went from there. Unfortunately, later they blew their reputation, which is sad. But I think in the beginning they were legit. But in the end, they had to get better shows, so they kind of went to become charlatans or fakies after a while, because they had to keep people interested and make money. Yeah, so that was Harry Price was the very first ghost investigator that would kind of bring a scientific element to it. He would investigate, of course, psychic mediums as well as paranormal activity, hauntings and stuff. And he was kind of the first to kind of say, hey, yeah, this is really happening, or no, this isn't. So he's kind of an interesting character, and just the history of how it hit the United States and became really popular, and just grew from there. And now we got Ghost Hunters, which was Harry Price pun that word. One of his first books was oh no, I gotta think. It's not diaries. It's not memoirs. Confessions of a Ghost Hunter is what he called it, and that's where that term came from, Ghost Hunters. So, yeah.
That is interesting. Ethan, can you see the REM pod from where you are?
I can see the light reflecting.
It is going through the
It's
paces.
just going nuts.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But I have to ask, what is below us right now?
Below us, well, there is offices and stuff below us,
Okay.
but nobody's usually in on Saturdays. My son is in the basement because I have a workshop
Yes.
down there,
Okay.
so he's in the
Would
basement.
it
But
affect anything if we moved it?
We can try moving the REM pod, yeah.
Because my only thing right now is, could it be some interference coming up from below the floor?
Yeah.
Well, it would have to be RF, so it would have to be a radio frequency that would interfere, not EMF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a security system or something.
Because I always gotta,
about that.
Yep, he's
Yeah.
I
gotta
gotta
poo
throw
poo
you
it.
around a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll move it over there for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So,
Does that make you angry?
so what we got all kinds of stuff going in here. So obviously you guys can hear that we got the REM pod going. We also have a new toy for us. It's called a tripwire. And it is, we could probably trip on it right now.
Exactly.
It's 36 feet long, and it has EMF detectors every 3 feet on it. So it is sporadically laid out around the entire room that we're in right now. And it's all purple right now. You guys had any activity over by you?
Nope.
Okay. And then we also have some ghost balls laid out. And we have the Ovilus set up over here, and EMF meters and a paralight, and all spread out through here. So very cool. Oh man, what else you got? What else you got over there? You had some actually believed haunted artifacts.
Correct. Yeah, some that were given to me. I have of course you got the dolls. You have to have the dolls. I have a Ouija board that was played with, in conjunction with a doll that was picked up here at a local thrift store. I have actually what do they call it? Excuse the language, but they call it Asquatch, which is the back end that you probably have seen.
Oh,
most.
yeah.
Yep, I'm familiar, so I was happy
Yeah.
to see it sitting there. I was like, I know what that
Those things
is.
are great. Those are great. It's suspected of being used in rituals. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was given to me, so I love it. But yeah, I got a haunted Uncle Sam that was picked up at a thrift store or at an antique store. A lady was having issues with it. She gave it to me. I actually purchased that one. Actually, I did pay her something for it. It was so nice. But yeah, just odds and ends. I do have witchcraft, some stuff about witches. Of course, that's part of our history as well. And then, what else do I have over here? Oh, I have an actual an old embalming table. That actually, before they had embalming tables, they called them.
Cooling tables.
Yes,
Mhm.
very good. Yeah, cooling tables. Yep, that's exactly it. And they would, of course, place the ice underneath there, and then keep the body from rotting too quickly, so they can view the bodies and stuff. And then when they learned how to embalm, they got the embalming tables, and that's when they became metal and that kind of thing, or I think stone probably too.
Porcelain.
Porcelain. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Yep. Porcelain. That's it.
Ethan's got the funeral theft.
I was gonna say that's awesome. Yeah.
I used to work in funeral homes and stuff like that,
Ah,
so I'm pretty familiar with it.
nice. Yeah.
I'm fairly familiar.
Yep.
But yeah, he's
Yeah.
got more of the information. So
Nice. Yeah.
like he knew that one was a Batesville.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, that's
it's
great.
like I've got 5 of these in my warehouse right now.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Yeah, I do. Well, side note, I do work furniture repair and stuff.
Oh,
scratch
okay,
removal.
yep.
So I do scratch removal. One of the Midwest distributors here is Makota Caskets.
Yep, I know them.
Oh, you know Brian?
Yep.
Yeah, he sold now recently to another company, I guess. But Brian and Marty, and he used to call me up when they would get one scratched or something. So I could touch it up. And then anyway, I got that from him. He gave that to me. So
Okay, yeah.
because he bought out Manger Caskets, which is no longer in existence. They went out and he bought out whatever they had in stock a long time ago, and then that, and it was kind of damaged. It had some wear on it and stuff. So
Yeah, and they haven't changed the design on these cloth covers for 40 years.
oh wow,
They've been the same. Like if I took one of our new ones, it's exactly the same.
really? Oh, yes. Wow. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Because I was asking him about a casket, how much it would be, you know. But then he said, I have this from Manger that I got as part of the deal when I bought them out or whatever. And he just gave it to me. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I think we all have caskets in this room. I think I have
It's nothing out of the
4 or
norm for
5
us.
now.
There's 7 in the garage.
Yeah, we have 7 of them, I think.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got one in our living room
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny with the holiday season. We didn't put up our Christmas tree, so I strung lights over our casket. I'm like, our Christmas tree. Boom, there you go.
Nice.
Christmas casket. Very cool. So Tim, what started you on all this? Let me ask you this. What started you on this? And what was your first piece in here? Like, what was the first thing that you collected out of this?
That's a good question. Well, I can start with how I started. Well, it's kind of a long story. I'll try to shorten it.
It's a podcast. Take as much time as you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what happened was I was married once over, and with my first wife, I had a daughter, and we were divorced anyway, and I guess that isn't so important, but anyway, my first.
The long story is getting shorter.
I'm trying to cut out the fill, but anyway, I had my daughter was like 4.5 at the time. Anyway, so she was real close to my dad. My dad just adored her, man. They were just like buds, you know. So my dad ended up contracting cancer, lung and brain. He was kind of a heavy smoker, drinker kind of guy, old school, you know. So towards the end, when somebody's passing of that rotten disease, it gets gross. Anyway. So when he was laid out and he was dying, we had him at home. We had a hospice nurse or whatever that came in. Well, long story short, my daughter. He didn't want my daughter to see him like that. He didn't want that last image, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, Tim, when I go, tell Meredith I love her and goodbye. Tell her, Grandpa loves her and goodbye. I said, don't worry, Dad. I got you, man. She knows, she gets it, she understands. Because he always felt really bad about it because he couldn't, she would ask for him all the time, but it's like, no, Papa can't see you right now, and so. Anyway, long story short, when he passed, this was in Menominee. I came home, it was a little later, it was a little after 10. So I called my ex-wife, and I said, I said, can I pick up Meredith in the morning? I got something to say to her. I want to take her out for breakfast. My dad just passed, so I need to talk to her. And she goes, oh my God, Tim, when did he die? And I said, well, I don't know. It was a little after 10 or something. I wasn't looking at the clock, Mare. A little stressed,
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, Tim, Meredith came out of her room a little after 10 saying Papa was there as a blue and white light at the end of her bed saying I love you and goodbye. Mm-hmm. I said, what? What did you say? She goes, well, Meredith came out of her room, I said, I got that. I said, so my dad was there as a blue and white light saying I love you and goodbye. She goes, yeah. I said, well, that's exactly what I have to tell her. I said, that's exactly what I have to tell her in the morning when I was going to take her to breakfast because Papa wanted to say I love you and goodbye because he didn't get to do it in person. So anyway, I was like, holy crap, man. So that started it. So I'm like, I knew there was an afterlife and I knew there's, heaven and hell and all that. And I didn't, tell you the truth, I was kind of iffy on the paranormal kind of at that time. I wasn't quite sure if things really were what they were. And so then that kind of kicked it for me, and then I kind of became really involved. Then I started reading stories and just kind of getting into it really heavy. And then I guess the first thing I ever bought, oh man, what would it have been? I think I started with the tribal, because I started reading about tribal Nigerian tribes and African tribes and such, and I just really got fascinated with their belief system and what they do to communicate and their belief system. So then I think the first one was probably one of those masks. And I just went from there, and I love the art. I think it's beautiful. I think it's just great African art, and masks they're greatly carved. They're talented You know, it's amazing. So I think that was the first, and I just kept going from there. Then I learned about the Tibetan and shaman and their beliefs, and then I started studying like different ghosts. Different cultures have their own ghost, staple ghost beliefs. Like we have the traveler, traveling ghosts, or the hitchhiker, the woman that's hitchhiking. And then like Japan has Janiki, that's a hungry ghost, a ghost that will devour rotting flesh because they're greedy in life. In the afterlife, they have to wander the earth, eating the dead bodies. So so every culture has its own kind of staple ghost story and that kind of thing. So I just kind of, just went from there. I just kind of became obsessed. Which it does. You probably guys know that too.
Oh yeah.
You become obsessed with it. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is. It never gets dull. You just can always learn something. Always keep learning and keep growing in it. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
They always say when you stop learning, you might as well die because there's nothing left. You got to keep going, and there's always something.
No, right? That is true.
Absolutely. How's the REM pod doing over there, guys?
Yeah, come on.
It's quiet as can be.
Oh,
shoot.
interesting.
What'd you do to it?
Yeah. It doesn't like Ethan. Let's-
You put it
It's pretty
back.
typical.
Let's bring it over
Bring
onto
it
the
back.
other side of the room here.
Oh.
And we'll put it over by Ma here and see.
No good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nothing likes Ma, so. If you've watched our show, the people listening, nothing likes to talk to Ma, so.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
All right. Very cool.
I'm just. Oh, this will probably be annoying, but.
Let me see something here. Very cool. All right. So we're gonna turn this over to Ma and Tim now. So she actually, I haven't got a chance to read your book yet,
Oh, that's right.
but because she's had it. So here, why don't you stand here? And
This is literally a tripwire.
you guys can discuss some of the stuff in the book.
Okay.
So let's start off with this. You've obviously written a book. Can you tell everybody what your book is, where people can find it, and what started you on the book?
Well, it's different haunted locations in Green Bay. It's called Haunted Green Bay. It's by History Press, which just recently has been bought out a few years ago by Arcadia. But
Not Gail. Not
Gail,
Gail.
not Gail.
That would have been the awfulest.
That's right. But it's kind of funny how fate is. Not my intention to write a book ever. But what happened was, this is kind of funny. This is the way it's been for the paranormal journey for me. Is I started with, of course, with my obsession, and then I started collecting things, and then I thought of a ghost tour here in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I started getting that together, and so that took me over 2 years to get together, get validated stories that I thought were validated and incredible. So I got that together, and after I got that together and started running a little bit, a newspaper found me. This is a long story too, and so they
That's
do want to
okay.
do an article on me. They wanted to do an article on me, so they did. And so, be it, this History Press at the time was looking for someone to write a book in the Green Bay area. It just happened at that time
Yeah.
to see that article, contact me, and then originally when they first contacted me, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not a writer, and I don't know, you guys legit as a self-publishing. I'm not a writer, so I'm a little hesitant. I don't think I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
They said, yeah, we're legit, Mr. Freiss. If you'd like to write us a book, I'm like, I'll look you up and see, whatever. How much is it going to cost me? Like, nothing, Mr. Freiss. I'm like, yeah, okay. How much is it going to cost me? Nothing, Mr. Freiss. I said, all right, well, I'll look into it, So I did, and then my daughter actually talked me into it. She said, Dad, they're legit, it's an opportunity. You should probably take it.
Mm-hmm. Things happen for a reason.
They
It
do.
just happened. They saw it, and at that time, it's all synchronicities.
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Because and then I took that and I did that, and then then from that it snowballed. I was on the Dead Files. I don't know if you know about that. They found my book, and I was on that showed the Dead Files as one of their historians. So that, I mean, it all linked to something else.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was on there, and then now, just recently, now there's a film being done here in Green Bay on one of the stories I wrote about at the Confetti's nightclub. So I was going to reach out to them. It's an independent film. It's not like a major motion picture or anything, but so I mean, it's just kind of. I don't know if they got my story. I'm assuming they took it out of my book. I didn't contact them or they didn't say anything like that. But I'm assuming that's where they got the story for my book. I'm assuming. I shouldn't assume. I shouldn't assume that. But
It came from the air, you know.
yeah, that's right. so I mean,
It
it's
all
just kind
happens.
of
Yeah.
just kind of
Mm-hmm.
synchronicity.
I really like
Yeah.
your book. I like all the
Thank you.
history, you do in there. I mean, there's so much more in-depth stuff to each story that, I might have heard some little things about some of the stuff, but you just put it all together and it's written really well.
Well, thank you.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like the Eisenhower train at the National Railroad Museum. And, well, I was reading today, I read some of the last stuff again, about Broadway Street, I've always thought that street was creepy.
Yeah,
Just,
It's creepy.
and now I know there's a history to it, besides. So, yeah. Did you actually investigate any of the places in there, or is this just all research? Because you got a lot of stuff in the back of the book about, all your sources and everything. So I just wondered if you actually investigated when you were doing it. No. That's okay. I mean, it takes a lot to just research it that way and to get all the information, so especially all the backstories and stuff. But yeah. So what was your favorite in there?
I don't know. I guess I always give them a plug because they're on my tour. But Captain's Walk, I love Captain's Walk. Helen Morrow is an active spirit there. She's a character, a ghost, man. So I like that one just because. And I also like Baird Creek is kind of creepy if you've ever been out there. That on the trails out in Baird's Creek on the east side here in Green Bay, far east. That's pretty creepy. That I had a personal experience. And that's,
see, you did.
Yeah, that's right. With that statue, Saint Death,
Okay.
And but it's kind of interesting is because I don't know. I get mixed reactions. I believe in symbols. I believe in like certain things. Like they can use nature and birds and animals to communicate with us on occasion. So I'm kind of a big believer in that. And when I was going to investigate a different story for the book. It was about the river has two kids that kind of haunt in this river. So I was actually going there to take pictures of the river and kind of investigate and go down the trail. But when I got there, right in the beginning of the trail, was this beautiful white dove. It was beautiful. It's pure white. And he's just sitting there looking at me like, what are you going to do, I'm like, so I started talking to her. Like, oh man, you're gorgeous, let me get real close. I thought maybe it was somebody's pet. I'm like, are you lost? Are you somebody's pet? Oh, you poor thing, you shouldn't be out here, gorgeous, And also I was looking at it, also it just flew off. I was like, wow, man, I was just enamored. I was like, that's just a beautiful bird. It's so cool. So anyway, I get down to the trail, and just not even a few feet in, then I found that statue, Saint Death, and I always pronounce it wrong, so I'm not gonna even try. Santa Morta, I think it's called. Morta, there we go. Thank you.
Morta is death in Spanish.
Oh, okay, that's it then. Yeah, Saint Death, and it was there, and I had an offering, and I had some candles that had been lit at one time, and I went to take a picture of it with the camera, and I had brand new batteries. I know I did because I went to Walgreens just before I went there to make sure I didn't die, So I went there and I got real close to it, and the battery shut off on me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I back up and it came back on. I was like, all right, whatever you are, you're pretty powerful, so I'll come back to you. I didn't know what it was at that time. So I went down the trail and I took pictures of the river and stuff and bridge, and then I came back and said, all right, now it's your turn. And I get down on it, and the battery went dead. It went completely dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the batteries were drained. I mean, it was just done. The camera was done. I'm like, holy crap. I said, whatever you are, man, you're freaky, man. So then I went and looked it up, and then found out about, praying to Saint Death and getting the things you want, and that, connecting with the paranormal and that kind of thing. Cool. A Mexican orient. Yeah.
That's all I had.
That's
That's
it.
all I
That's
had.
it.
I don't know. Unless there's something else you know, you haven't had any other experiences, any of those places? I liked your pictures too because you have the little explanation, you know, more to it than, you know, some of the other places that just say where it is, you know, other books I've read, you know, it's like, that's, yeah, this is the place, you know, but you had, you know, more information where this happened or pictures of things happening, you know, and, you know, actual evidence. I don't know. I really liked your book.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There was a lot in there.
It's a lot
You
in
know?
there. Yeah, you don't get rich off of writing a book either.
No, no.
That's for sure. Yeah, I didn't get royalties yet though, which is nice. So it came out in 2010, 10 it came out. And now I'm still getting a check, or not check anymore. They don't do checks, they do direct deposit. So it's kind of nice. It's not a lot, but it's every once in a while I get a few $100 and it's kind of nice, you know. The work's already done, so.
And did you say where you can get it?
Oh,
Or-
you can get it on anywhere. eBay, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Yeah.
Can you come here and visit him? That's where we got it.
That's right. Come here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Walgreens, CVS, Walmart.
Okay, see, you were reading some of those books, but his wasn't in there.
Yeah. Oh.
It's because we were in Appleton.
Yeah.
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 That's- yeah.
So one more time, let's cover this all again right away.
Okay.
Name of your museum, where it is. Do you still do the tours, the Green Bay tours?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where can we find information on that and stuff too?
Well, that's online too. I have a Facebook and a website. That's Green Bay Ghost Tours. Not very original, but that's.
But it's easy to remember.
Yeah, it tells you what it
That's
is.
true. Well, what I was going for is the initials was GTs, and I was trying to go like, you ever hear that famous cafe that rock stars used to start at? Out in
CBGB.
CBGBs, yeah. So I was going with that kind of theme, and then I was on going GBGTs, get your heebie-jeebies. But so I went with that. But yeah, that's you can get. I'm still doing those, but those are start in May until October. I didn't do the bus tours this last year. I just did the walking tours, but I'm hoping to do both of them next year, of course. And then this is Nightshades Paranormal Museum, which is open anytime. Anybody wants to call me, can reach me either through Facebook or give me a call or website.
Appointment.
Yeah, appointment,
By
yeah.
appointment. Yep.
Yeah, and it is in Green Bay, 2129 south of Nida.
In the far back corner.
Yeah.
Yes, oh yeah.
It's kind of hard to find, but
Yeah.
it's way back in
Far
the
right back
far
corner.
right back corner of the little cul-de-sac
Pardon.
area here. Yeah.
I did notice like a little sign in the
Yeah,
corner.
the
Yeah.
best thing when
Yep.
I pulled up is I saw the little outline of the ghost on the sign.
Oh,
And I was
You
like,
were there.
it's right there.
Yeah, I always say it's the double
Wanna trade?
building because they're all single, and this is
Mhm.
like they
Dimmer
call
in
it
here.
tower.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Just because it's the only one on the second floor and all
Lights
that.
dimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ghost was a good
I quit
indication.
talking,
You're
too.
like, where are we supposed
Yep.
to go? Oh, right over there in that back corner.
Back. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did
That was
that.
Ma.
That was me.
Oh.
That was just Ma. Very cool.
You can.
Ethan, Kayla, you
Talk
guys got
about
any
Gail.
questions?
Nothing I can come off of right hand.
Come off of?
So this is all like research and stuff too, because I noticed that everything is perfectly like written, like just have a lot of good descriptions on here. Like
Mhm.
I wouldn't even know if by just looking at it. I appreciate all the
Oh yeah, definitely.
everything described.
Definitely appreciate all the note cards
Yeah,
that
note
take you
cards.
through what it is, where it came from.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because so many places you go to and it's just an item on a shelf.
Okay. Yeah.
You
I've
know,
been to a museum
yeah.
and there's just artifacts. They're just laying there. I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? Because it's confusing, you know.
Right, no.
So I like how it's just nice and organized, and you can read what this is, and then just kind of go through it, and it's nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I wanted to have them all handwritten,
Yeah.
so I wrote them all because I really like sideshow like
Mhm.
museums
Oh,
and
yeah.
sideshow attractions. I always want that feel. Even if I do expand, I still want like the handwritten cards.
Yeah,
I
it's
want-
very like authentic. Like you know,
Authentic.
it's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah.
like yeah. 'Cause when you just have like regular things, it's just like typed. It's kind of boring. Like at least
Yes.
it's just your handwriting just draws my attention. I just want to read it. So
Oh,
I'm just
good.
like, yeah. So I'm like,
Well,
what's
good,
this?
thank you.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, I just yeah, that's the way I always want to keep it, like this home jobby. You know, that's what it is. It's just a collection of things I've collected and threw together. You know, so yeah, but yeah, it took me a lot. I mean, it took me a lot too to research everything and write it up and put it in my own words and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know. So,
How long has your museum been open? Because I know you weren't originally here. You had just moved here right when we first came here. But
yeah.
yeah, so how long have you had the museum open?
Oh, it's been. Holy crap! How long has it been now? At least 6 years, maybe better.
Wow.
Yeah, at least 6 or 7 years now, something like that. Yeah, because I was in. I can't think about this now. Because it was in Larson Canning. The old Larson Canning, which is supported to be haunted too, but I never got any evidence or many eyewitnesses or anything. And that was quite a nice spot, and it was a larger spot there, but it was more open concept. It was used to be an old canning factory, of course, and they had other things there as well. And I moved them there just because this was more reasonable in rent. Their rent was great when I first started, but a new investor came in, and from what I understand, they were going to really go up with the rent, which I understand. It's a valuable space, and it's going to be kind of a hub down there. You got all the apartments going on, and they want like cafes down there, and they want it to kind of be the go-to place.
Kind of bringing it up.
Yeah, it's bringing it up.
Making it a more, I guess I would say, a place that's going to draw in a little bit more cash flow, touristy almost.
Correct. Yeah. And it would have been ideal for that. I know it's going to be something, like it's going to be the place, but I couldn't swing the kind of cash they wanted for rent. So then I moved here, and then I had to put some of the collection in my basement again, where I originally started. So, which is okay.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, how much more do you have in your collection? Do you got a lot more than that? Or
Bins.
this? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a
totes,
bins.
yeah,
Bins.
totes, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how like they say like with House on the Rock, he's got a lot of stuff, and like there's more stuff that people haven't seen. So
Yeah,
I can
just
see
in a warehouse.
You probably have more too that's like really interesting too. It's like
Yeah, it's fun. And
it looks like really fun to collect too.
It is, and that's kind of like House on the Rock. That's kind of like one of those attractions I really like. Because that's that personal collection again, and the guy just kept going
Got a
and
lot
going
of
and
personal
going.
collections, yeah. So that's what you kind of remind me of. It's like he's got a lot more. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
I also collect like oddities. You go to the thrift store and you find something really weird or something.
Yep.
Those are fun too,
yeah. Oh yeah, we love the oddities.
That's fun too. Yeah.
I think we didn't talk about when on your tours, what are some of the stops that you take them around to?
Well, the walking tour it starts downtown, and it starts at the Captain's Walk Winery, and we go in, and I give out EMF meters, real cheap ones, because people tend to drop them and they leave them behind, So, so we start there, and I talk about Helen, the ghost that haunts there. She's a prankster. She's a fun ghost, and. So then we go to St. Brennan's, which is another pub, Irish pub. It's fairly new, but that was built on a cemetery, Menominee, and it was a French, and then English used it, so it was a big cemetery at one time. And then we go to Bellin, the Bellin building, which is Julius G. Bellin built that to rent out to doctors and that. It had a bunch of offices, buildings, and stuff. He died on that premise at 58. He died of a heart attack on the top floor, and he seems to be haunting it. And then we go to Confetti's, which used to be an old theater. That's the one they're writing a movie about now, which was a triple homicide. No, not homicide. Well, there was two. There was the husband caught his wife cheating with a fellow actor because they were in the same play. He went there and killed them both, and then killed himself in the building. So that's haunted by that. And then the YMCA downtown, and that's the walking tour. The YMCA was another murder. A guy was murdered by a fellow resident. They used to have a residence program where guys just starting out or low income could stay. And one of the guys got in an argument with one of the others, and he waited for him the next night and then killed him and his buddy up on the top floor. So Conrad seems to be haunting that top floor. So So that's that one. But the bus tour starts with Ashwaubenon and Bow. And then you go from there back to the Captain's Walk. That's the only repeat. And then you go back over and you go to Glenn's Cigar Bar. And then the final one was Kim's Photography. And she has some kind of phantom or something that haunts. Well, I couldn't validate who it is or why, but she's had all kinds of like things move on her and things like that. So yeah, so that's the bus one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How much are your tours for people listening?
Well, I'm debating that because
With all the stuff going on in the world, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. They were 17 this last year. I might be going up a little.
That's really good, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I think you know, no one's gonna balk at it if you raise that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because you can't even do most things for that price point now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got a lot of that stuff. Well, you're kind of cheap for what you got going. You know, I mean, that's kind of inexpensive. Like, you go a little bit more. You
I
know?
say that is nothing because I did
Uh-huh.
do like a Green Bay. It was like the museum, and I paid like close to 20, and I was disappointed. I was like, I'd
yeah.
rather,
It was
yeah.
only an hour long.
It was
or so.
only an hour long, and I was like,
Oh.
okay, this is what they're gonna show me. I'd rather go to yours, honestly.
Oh, no.
Yours sounds better than what I went to, because
Oh.
the hype was so much on Facebook, and then when you get there, I'm like, oh, come on, what?
Oh.
And they had a survey, and I was honest. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
don't like up like what you're gonna say, and then just come in and disappoint. So
Right.
yeah, I'd rather have a walk in and like EMF, like get in there and yeah. That would be a better experience than what I had.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other aspect of that, I enjoy it so much
Yeah.
because I meet a lot of people and I get a lot of stories.
Yeah, and this,
know, it's
I
good
think you can
interaction.
just tell the difference with you. You're passionate about it, and like with the one I went, it just seemed like just employees that were just there.
Yeah.
Just
I'm only here because
I'm only here because I have to, and then with
Yeah.
yours, at least yours is like experiences, passionate. Something that's really interesting that people would get involved with, and that actually moved.
Oh.
That moved. I didn't even move that.
Which one?
That ball.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd rather have somebody who's passionate about something.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah. I just love it, and and I love doing the tours. That's why I just love every
Yeah.
part of it. The interaction, the stories of other people, and the possibility we've had. I don't guarantee it,
Mhm.
but we've had things happen on my tour,
Yeah.
and that's fun because then that kind of gets everybody going when something does happen.
Yeah.
Like we've had a light turn on for us. Helen, like I said, she's a prankster. She likes men. So
Well,
do you like
I
that?
saw on the shelf over there, you have the book that was thrown,
Yeah.
and then the wine glass that was thrown at that location.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. That was actually
I think
in
I saw the
protest.
wine glass. Yeah. I didn't read the book.
Yeah. That was in protest of my tour.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I was
What?
reading the label. I was like, oh,
Not everyone's happy with the tour.
No, she wasn't at first until I had that's
the
an,
dishwasher at the same night. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. No, it was my first tour. I had finally. Here's the other aspect is that when I was getting the tour together, you have to convince the owners that it's something that's good for their business and good
yes,
for them.
it's going to draw people in, not push them away.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. And it took me a while for Captain's Walk. I mean, they didn't really weren't up for the idea, but I said, hey, this is really going to be good, and I won't impede your business. I won't cause any problems. I'll come in with my tour, and we'll stay out of the way, and we won't cause any problems. So eventually, Debbie, the young manager who was there at the time, she said, okay, Tim, but we're going to give it a try. If anything happens, it doesn't work, then we're done, whatever. And I said, okay, Deb, thanks, I appreciate it, thank you, So my first one, I just took a bunch of friends and stuff, we went in there and stuff, and, but anyway, when I got there, Deb was waiting for me at the front foyer, and she's like, she goes, we gotta talk. I said, oh, what? She goes, yeah, we gotta talk. Helen's not happy. I'm like, I said, okay, Deb, whatever. She goes, no, I'm serious. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my tour first, and then can I come back and talk to you, or whatever? She goes, yeah. So then, she would tell a little bit of the history and some of the things that happened. I would tell the history that you would tell, some of the things that happened to her and stuff while she was there. And so then afterwards, I said, well, what's going on, Deb? Well, what's the problem? She goes, well, Helen ain't happy with your tour. And I said, okay, whatever. I said, what happened? She goes, well, just before you got here, she threw a wine glass out of the dishwasher and it smashed. And then a few minutes later, I hear a thump in the upstairs library room, and there's that psychology book. It was in the middle of the room and open.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I said, well, geez, Deb, I said, that's awesome. I said, no. I said, why didn't you read it? You know, did you read the pages?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she's trying to communicate. I said, that's awesome. She goes, no, I didn't do that. I just picked it up and put it on the shelf or whatever. And then, like I said, they did give it to me as a souvenir that night. And then she said, well, we're going to have to, probably cut the tours to him because this is Helen's house and we treat her as such and we don't want her upset in her own home. And if she's going to be throwing things, we don't want that. That means that she's not happy, you know. I said, all right, Deb. I said, I'll tell you what, you give me one more chance. Give me one more chance and I'll make my peace with Helen tonight. And she has a problem next time we come through with an actual tour. We'll call it quits, eh? So, you know, so I said, hey, Helen. I said, my name is Tim Freiss. I'm going as Charles Ghost host tonight. And I'm just in this tour started here in Green Bay. And it's not a tour to put you down, Helen, or tease you or make you do tricks. But if you like to, we like that kind of stuff. But it is, of course, to tell your story and to share your beautiful home with as many people as I can. Now, if you've got a problem with that, Helen, or me for some reason, you go ahead and let me know by throwing something next time I come through or after I leave or whatever. And I promise I'll never step foot in your house again, Helen. And after that, she was good after that. But she has turned on lights, and she'll tug on men's pants on occasion if she's interested in them, which is pretty wild. We had it half a dozen times have that happen. Yeah, she's just a prankster. She likes to move things. Yeah, like I said, turn on lights, turn on radios, all kinds of things. So she's pretty active. But like I said, we've had things happen on the tour on different spots. And it's always a win. And you know, people are like, oh, you know, that's pretty great, you know. But I can't guarantee it. Some nights are just nothing.
So, you know, earlier when I was just saying that this ball moved, you know, as you were talking, I was trying to like, hey, this carpet moved a little bit. Even when I make a little bit of movement, it doesn't go. So I'm kind of like wondering why it moved, you know. So I was like tugging, like why? I don't know.
Nice.
I was trying to debunk it, but I can't.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
So I don't know why that moved.
Very cool.
That's pretty wild, yeah.
So I was like, did I bump into it? I wasn't. I was standing like right here when I was talking to you, and then I was like, see?
Yeah, they doing.
I'm trying to move the carpet, and it's not
enough to get it to go on.
not enough to go off.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
When I set those balls down over there, those two, they lit up right away as well. So I don't know if that was just, I was wondering too, because the carpet looked kind of bunchy over there. I didn't know if I stepped on it or something, but.
Yeah, because even when I'm trying to.
Yeah, and even me getting close with my boots and everything, nothing.
Yeah. I thought, yeah.
And I step heavier than you.
Yeah.
It didn't light up though, did it?
Nope.
Yeah.
No. Just that one time I was telling him about, you know, his ghost tours, and it just lit up blue, and then I was like, what?
It wasn't even a full cycle. It lit up and then turned off.
Yeah.
Very cool. I did catch some, we'll say dust, but I don't know, dust or orbs.
Yeah.
You know, that was going through here before when you were standing here talking to him. There was one that came from like the floor and went up that way.
Something was flashed on your screen there too. No.
Oh.
You were when you weren't looking at it. It was just this big white thing. I don't know what it would have been, but
Yeah, no, I would say it was dust when you walked over here right away or something.
that was
but,
bigger than dust.
Yeah. That's on this camera.
I don't know what that was, so you can go back and look at that.
Very cool.
Timestamp.
Yep. So we have had, I don't know about you, you're always cold, but when I switch spots with you over here, we're standing by the front over here, and I got super cold standing right where, I was standing in front of this
the hallway,
stuff.
but I don't know. But yeah. It's colder over here than it was over there.
Okay, yeah, because my whole back was freezing standing over here by the door. And I kind of put it off to being by the door, but I don't know.
I have a thermometer over here.
Yeah. Oh, we got more equipment out in the car, but I didn't want to. It's a small room. I didn't want to overload it, you know. But
Just didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
Nice.
very cool. All right, so we have all kinds of stuff happening here, and you got all kinds of stuff going on with your book and the museum and everything. And from honestly, for me, I really appreciate you taking time to come out here and And we did an interview earlier with Tim for our upcoming paranormal convention in Upper Michigan. So that's going to be on an episode. You get to see Tim on that as well. And we
We're gonna
got
try and talk him into coming too.
yeah. We got to get you come up and set up a little table of like your other artifacts from home.
Yeah.
See, bring those up to the convention and set them up in June.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I got
See,
paper in there.
advertise your tours and everything. It's great. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Love
we got that. You got your museum. You got your book. You got your tours.
Yeah.
He's got
And-
merchandise.
Yeah. Oh man, he's got a gift shop.
Good selection.
He's got all kinds of stuff.
I was looking at it, I was like, you get a lot of options. Which
Well, this is not paranormal related, but I got another book coming out.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Tell us about it.
That's coming out next year in October. Murder and Mayhem.
Oh, okay.
It's about famous murders and, well, not famous, but well-known murders
Will
that
be.
happen in
No.
Green Bay. Yeah.
Oh, that would still be interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about that. What we got here.
Well, of course, it has the Mon Files case. If you guys remember that. And then I got Linda Anderson, who was, is it Linda? Margaret? I gotta think. Margaret Anderson. I'm sorry, Margaret Anderson, who was murdered by the rival gangs here in Green Bay, and
Okay.
it was really a nasty, nasty one. What else do I got in there? I gotta think now again what I have. But yeah, just all those, all those kind of things. Really nice, pleasant stuff like that.
Yeah. Nice, pleasant murders. Awesome. Yeah. So that's coming out in October. You said.
Yeah.
Is that Arcadia Press as well?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So they can find that everywhere your other book is out.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Which is everywhere.
Which is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing too. They've been contacting me to see if I wanted to write one for quite a while. And I was kind of done with that from the first one because it does take a long time.
Mhm.
Takes a lot of research, a lot of, so I wasn't up for it. But then I'm like, my daughter again. It's an opportunity, Dad. Do it, so.
kind of cracking the whip on you.
She does. She does. Yeah, exactly. So like, okay, but she's a big help too. She helps me too. She helps me edit. She's really good with the word, with the written word. So she helps me. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't seem to write well, she'll help me with that. So she's very good with the written word. So she's a big help too. So yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So, one last time, museum name. Where can we find it? Where can we find you online?
Well, it's Nightshades Paranormal Museum at 2129 South Oneida, Green Bay. And you can find me on Facebook or my websites, of course, Nightshades. And or call me, 920-499-2783. And tell me a time and date, and I'll be here. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And while you're here, you can pick up T-shirts and your
Yeah,
book and all
right.
kinds of stuff. And you got the tours. What was the tours website again?
That was Green Bay Ghost Tours, GBGTs, and that's again Facebook. Call me, set up. I'll even go as far as one person. I've had that before. If you want to do a tour one night, I don't care. I'll go out there. I'll dress up and do it for one person. Because I do wear a top hat and a tux with tails, and I paint my face, and I do a Charles as a ghost host. He's kind of a hyper,
Well, I know what we're doing in the spring. Ethan, what day are you busy?
Well, I'm not on weekends anymore, so.
There we go.
Fridays
Well,
or
as soon as
Sundays
you're
or
ready,
so.
you let us know, and we'll come on back.
Drink my mom and stepdad up.
There you go.
Yeah, it is very light. It's got a lot of corny jokes I tell. So it's,
Perfect.
Yeah.
My stepdad will have the time of his life.
Awesome, Tim. Thank you very much for letting us come in here and do an investigation and interview you and all this stuff. And I sincerely would like to tell everyone to come out and check out the museum. I don't know, lost my word there,
Yeah.
but we had to invite everyone to come out and check it out because it is small. I mean, it's one room, but we are literally like horseshoed in here with equipment and cameras and stuff. And
see Barnaby and
Yeah.
Ma right
yeah. There is a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things to look at, and you could spend an entire day here and
This
probably
is more than a book in here.
Yeah.
You should write a book just on this stuff, you know. There you
Yep.
go.
Yeah, you could actually.
Yes, you could.
That's his third book coming out in 2024. Look for that. Oh yeah, but yeah, definitely come out and check it out. I would assume I can recommend. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh,
recommend your tours as well, because if they're anything like this, I would assume they're very well written and spoken and stuff. And you're an amazing guy to hang out with and listen to. So
Oh, thank you.
I would highly recommend that as well, because I know we're gonna go check it out when he tells us to come. So.
Like I said, it like speaks volume when you know somebody's completely
Put it on the
passionate about
calendar.
So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Very
keep
interesting.
learning,
Yeah.
just keep learning, keep going with it, I just love it. And I love being around people that love it too.
Yeah, right.
It's so much fun. It gets your energy going. It's awesome.
And I'm sure he'd take any artifact or anything, from somebody, if they have something they don't want anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, how can people get a hold of you for that? Same way, obviously.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, if they need something for it, like some money, I'll pay it to, as long as it's reasonable. We don't want a lot, like hundreds of dollars or something. But yeah, I would be that doesn't bother me. Haunted items don't bother me. I don't.
And
I don't get
what would
worried
we
about
say,
it.
like historically relevant paranormal memorabilia as well?
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
yeah, give me that. He says.
We're gonna start ending everything like Bob Barker with spay and neuter your pets, but it's donate and sell your items.
Is something haunting you? We know a guy who will take it off your hand.
And then we'll come and investigate it. All right, guys, that's our episode for this week. We're going to hang out here a little while longer, and Ethan and Kayla are going to check out the museum and take the tour, and we're going to let our paranormal stuff run for a little while yet, and hopefully you can check this out, and maybe we'll have an episode on it if we get enough evidence. And hey, we're recording this live, obviously, so I have no idea what is on this recorder, if anything, at this point. Hopefully something recorded. I have 3 things running in here, but if you're listening to this podcast and you hear something in the background, feel free to leave us a note.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us the timestamp and what to listen to, because there's a lot of stuff in here that could come through on this recording as well.
Yeah.
And so if you hear any weird voices that aren't one of us, definitely, there was some talking downstairs in the hallway a little bit ago, but that was, that's nothing. And I marked it on my
There was
phone
some cars going
here.
by or
Yeah.
something too.
But other than that, if you hear anything really close that shouldn't be here, let us know. And if we find anything, I'll definitely let you know, and add to your museum, because that's more publicity for you, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So this is actually live?
No.
Well,
No, it'll get edited.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I know you said you had the other part. I thought, I hope you had this.
Oh, yep, everything gets edited, man.
Yeah.
Except this. I'm leaving this in.
Kind of like all the other times I yelled at you before or after a podcast.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep. The melodic voice of Ethan from the other room over there. All right, guys, enough of this. All right. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Barnaby.
I'm Ma.
Ethan.
Kayla.
And Tim.
There you go. We're used to this. Even Kayla got it. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. To find out more about cryptids, anomalies, and the Paranormal Society, visit us at our website at wisconsincaps.com. That's wisconsincaps.com. There you can find links to all of our social media: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon. You will see links to our online store as well, where you can get t-shirts, DVDs, and more. If you click on the public events page, you can find out where you can meet us in person and all the public events we have coming up. If you enjoy our podcast or our YouTube shows, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/Wisconsin Caps. There you can find behind-the-scenes pictures and videos from all of our media, as well as bonus footage and evidence that we have collected. If you have encountered something you can't explain, we want to hear from you. Visit our website and click on Submit a Report on our main screen. You can choose to leave your contact information or simply remain anonymous. You can also reach us via email at wisconsincaps@gmail.com. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us on our Whispers from the Dark podcast page on Facebook, or send us an email at wisconsincaps.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen or watch or find us.